In the last lecture, you learned about the updatable views. Now, following the same example from the last lecture, let's see what happens when we update the payment total for one of these invoices. So here we have invoice 2. The payment total is less than the invoice total. We have a balance, and that is the reason we have this invoice in this view. Now I'm going to update this invoice through this view and set the payment total to the exact same amount as invoice total. So the balance is going to be 0. What do you think will happen? Let's take a look. So back to our query window, I'm going to update the invoices with balance view and set the payment total to the invoice total for invoice number 2. Let's execute this statement. All right. Now back to our view. Let's refresh the view and see what happens. Invoice number 2 disappeared. So this is the default behavior of views. So when you update or delete data through a view, some of the rows may disappear. Now there are times that you want to prevent this. You don't want an update or delete statement to exclude a row from the view. Let me show you how to do this. Back to the code for this view. At the very end, after our select statement, we type with check option. When we apply this clause, this view will prevent update or delete statements from excluding rows from the view. Let me show you. So I'm going to recreate this view by executing the statement. All right. Now, let's go back to our view. Let's update another invoice, invoice number 3. Here we don't have a payment. So back to our query window. Let's set payment total to invoice total for invoice number 3. Now, when we execute this statement, we get an error. If you look at the output window, you will see an error like check option failed. So by default, when you update data through a view, the modified rows may no longer be included in the view. You can use the with check option clause to prevent this. So if you try to modify a row in such a way that it would no longer be included in the view, you will get an error.